Yeah.
Welcome to the Take It Home podcast, the podcast so bad we really should just take it home. I am one of your hosts, Doc Simmons. You can find me on all social media at Doc Simmons17. I'm joined today by our usual gaggle of gorgeous men. I'll give the hot tag to my partner to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. It's the Outlaw Zach Hendricks. You can find me on all social medias at Z Hendricks Brand. And of course, even though your mom's already looking us up, you can look us up too at Country Air Official for Facebook and Instagram, Country Air Brand for Twitter. And I guess with that being said, let's pass off to a monster of men.
What's up? It's Gunner Wicks. You can find me at Gunner Wicks on everything. And I'll let it be known that I did not do my homework for this podcast tonight. So I apologize in advance.
All right. We'll maybe do a preview so you can have time to think about it. But
as you have a
first,
question this week.
Hmm?
As long as you have your question this week, Gunner. That's all I expect from you days.
Like I said, I did not do my homework.
All right. So, last but not least, our senior official. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Perch. You can find me at Perch XLV, # for the Ref brand. And we got the Waffles Take It Home podcast.
Waffles.
Waffles, lots of waffles, lots and lots of waffles.
All the waffles.
Blueberry waffles.
Uh,
Had them recently. Phenomenal.
had banana
Nice.
pancakes. Sadly, I betrayed the waffles yesterday, but they were solid.
When that fork slices into a short stack of pancakes, very little is better in the morning.
Yeah, it was a solid short stack from a place called Short Stack. So they lived up to their name. It was very good.
Even better.
Yep. But let's go ahead and jump right into things. Senior official Perch, why don't you give us our banger of the week?
Oh man, banger of the week. This one comes from a song came on the car trip this weekend and brought me right back to growing up as well as the early days of when I first started wrestling and was training. Needed some good music to get me going through and that drive to Milwaukee over the big Hone Bridge and driving through the city every day. So I made a banger playlist. And this song was certainly on the playlist, and I heard it again this weekend, and it brought me right back. The song "Feel Good Drag" by Anberlin.
Ooh, I don't think
that was a banger from back in the day. Maybe that 07, 08 era, right in the good kind of rock, its own kind of distinct rock.
Okay. Hey, we're all about that mid 2000s music.
Oh yeah, that's part of what shaped us.
Me myself, I was listening to a lot of Akon on the road. I forgot all about how many songs he was featured in that era. So I was also in the 2007s as I was on the road.
Oh, that's great. That just brings it right back. Akon had so many tunes, just classic. Remember driving the winter time to his CDs, always hit the spot.
Yeah. Definitely.
First, did you listen to the new Rise Against banger?
No, this
came out like a couple days ago, a new single with the album coming out soon too, I believe. Oh yeah, it's good too. So many great lines that really like hit home with wrestling. If you listen to it, it's good stuff. I think you'd like it.
Good emo boy stuff.
I wouldn't say emo, really.
Good Chicago rock stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I'll check that one out for sure.
It's weird that Doc said good emo stuff because when we were driving to Doc's house yesterday, Gunner's playlist was emo music. What was it called, Gunner?
I made a playlist called Emo Party, which had all of my emo bangers on it, and that's what we listened to on the way to Doc's house. So you're welcome.
Very coincidental that Doc was be like emo music and like you had that.
Well, that's what Gunner's
knows what I like. Yep.
Gunner is the authority on emo music for this podcast.
Is he?
Yes, sir.
I could call him the leader of the Black Parade.
Yes.
or maybe just lieutenant.
When he was a young boy, his father took him to the city to see a marching band.
And that's when my life changed.
Okay. Enough of the emo party. Before we get into our later segment of what pay-per-view you would bring back, hint, hint, Gunner. Let's talk about maybe a pay-per-view we watched yesterday, Fastlane, or any other wrestling we've been watching. I'm sure we'll all talk about Fastlane probably towards the end. I've finished watching the New Japan Cup. Will Ospreay with the big win. Friggin' him and Shingo just have such good chemistry. I was very sad Shingo didn't win. Shingo was my pick to win it all. It was great to see him in the finals. But damn, those boys go. And if you see the spot, how he gets into the Os cutter, god damn, he's really good. Like, how is WWE just like failing on Ricochet?
Yeah, what has he even been doing lately?
He's on main event all the time, I know, but I don't watch main event.
Yeah.
And then they'll bring him on Raw to take a crazy loss. And that's about it. But,
I'm surprised, like, he's not like going for the Cruiserweight Championship or something.
No, he's not on 205.
You'd think he's probably like 205 or under, right?
Probably.
Or at least if he's not, they could definitely like gimmick weight him.
They could lie about that. Like we not too many people are me and honest about how much they weigh.
Very true.
They could definitely lie about that. But yeah, it's like after watching that, and then the promo he cut afterwards, hitting the cutter on B Priestley to prove a point that she doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what's going to be the world heavyweight title, I guess, afterwards. Just good stuff. Good stuff. But anybody else want to talk about what else they've been watching?
To be honest, Perch, you go, because I didn't watch really much this week.
We watched the one of the best main events I've seen on TV in a long time. Came this week on AEW on TNT. I was so stoked all week to see the Thunder Rosa against Dr. Britt Baker.
Yeah.
And that match lived up to even more hype. Said, well, that match lived up to the hype, and then thought, well, I don't even know if it was really hyped all that much, but I certainly was stoked for it.
I will be honest. I'm a huge Thunder Rosa fan. Was not the biggest fan of Britt Baker, but was a fan after that match. That was a good one.
Oh yeah, she's just a badass from Pittsburgh who has a degree and she's got good personality. Big fan. And she brings it. Remember, we were in that hotel room and we got the stream up for that dentist match.
Yeah.
We were out on the road somewhere, and that match was kind of earlier on in her kind of getting established, and didn't quite get it all that much at the time myself, but watching her have a segment on the AEW Dark, like the dentist room, it was pretty good.
No, yeah, she's definitely come into her own over this last year and a half. Definitely has shown improvement, and I think that match on Wednesday definitely solidified that she's at least pretty good. She's at least pretty good.
And that fire from Thunder Rosa, that's something you can't deny, and something you very tough to get is just that pure fire, ready to go at all times.
There's like so many moments throughout wrestling where when like if they can use blood in like the correct way, that you can get like a legendary like picture or moment that like lasts forever. Like you got the Austin passing out with the blood all over his face. You got the Becky Lynch moment in the stands with blood on her face, and now you got like Britt Baker with blood on her face. Like
on the ground. Yeah, that's going to be one of those iconic moments for sure.
Yep.
Most definitely. And I don't know about you, it makes me more hyped for Thunder Rosa versus Kylie Ray for Warrior. Like just watching that match, just like knowing that Kylie can go and just watching like, because I feel like Bray, like how you said, wasn't so hype, and like on Doc's point, Britt kind of she's good heel role, but like I feel like just
in ring, I just
something.
never connected.
And now it's like, oh, and just seeing that match and being like, whoa. And now thinking about the next match, like even like in the Chicago area, so it's gonna be like, all right, now I'm just a little bit more hyped for that.
Yeah, though I will say, always love Britt's finish. I do like her variation of the Rings of Saturn is one of my favorite finishers. I always did enjoy her finish. I just definitely never really connected everything else in the ring. I thought the gimmick was good. Yeah, I love the doctor sessions, but like this was probably the first match of hers from like beginning to end that I've enjoyed.
Yeah, no, I feel you there. And it was a good match to cater to that style where she was able to, give some attitude into everything.
Yeah.
And use everything, accordingly. That was a banger though. Certainly one of the best matches I've seen in a while. And the other one on that show was Mox and Kingston against the Good Brothers. Like keep that feud going. And that was a good back and forth, just brawl the whole time. Ended with a quick roll up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was not expecting that finish. But that was good. It got me because didn't see it coming.
It was great. Just exactly what it needs to be. I really enjoyed it.
Right time for that one.
Oh, and the NWA as well over the weekend. Big pay-per-view. And Nick Aldis
you saw it.
defended the title against Aaron Stevens.
Did you catch that show?
Just highlights. Just highlights.
I was gonna ask. I know you must be excited for NWA coming back.
Oh, big time. And with this one being a big pay-per-view, it got some newer guys established, and we'll see how it goes, once weekly starts coming back. But it was a good bang to start it and get the ball rolling.
Show. All right. I wanted to bring this up. Our homie Dante versus Max Caster on Elevation last week. It was also a really good match.
That was great.
I wish Max would have caught him a little bit more on that dive, but it was all safe. I just prefer a grab, but hey, still banger of a match.
Yeah, and the technical wrestling to start it was great too, just to establish who each competitor is. And Dante, talk about that babyface fire, had it on display.
Yep, I think he's good fighting from under because he is actually so baby-faced in the face. Like he definitely looks like a kid out there giving his best, and that's credit to his efforts that he has. And then he starts moving, and you're like, this guy is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But very good stuff. All right, to the last two homies, want to talk about what you guys been watching?
I watched that AEW Elevation. I just watched like the Dante match. Other than that, to be honest, this week was kind of a light week on wrestling for me.
Okay, all good. Sometimes we get burnt out. Once we get to the end, we'll talk about Fastlane in more detail, unless Gunnar doesn't really have anything else to add.
Let's see. All I got is WWE uploaded that Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker match WrestleMania on YouTube like a day or two ago, so I watched that again. Great moment. The dude's face in the front row, it's just like complete shock and awe. Will never be topped as far as fan reaction goes, in my opinion. Let's see, what else did I see? I saw the Stone Cold podcast with Randy Orton last night. Highly recommend to give it a listen. Really good. Lots of good stuff for up and coming wrestlers like ourselves. Lots of good advice. Highly recommend. And interesting stories, like always on that podcast. So
okay.
Well, I enjoy those Stone Cold ones. Always good learning.
Oh yeah, me too. He has like
Uh,
such good chemistry with everyone, asks such good questions. And always gets good answers.
Good answers when you ask the good questions.
Yeah, who's not gonna answer Stone Cold Steve Austin?
What?
Yeah. Imagine that's what he would do if he wasn't satisfied with an answer.
Gunner,
Full
right when it
disclosure-
flipped over,
Oh, sorry.
right when
Perch.
it flipped over to you, I thought right away about a Muda spot that I saw throughout the week. Flipped it on before bed one night, and it was Great American Bash 1989, and Ric Flair against Terry Funk, and it was a back and forth match the entire time. Ric Flair ends up winning, and he's celebrating, and who comes in out of nowhere but the Great Muda, blast him in the face with the mist, and
Nice.
and like a 10-minute battle ensues throughout the entire arena between Muda, Sting, Ric Flair, and Terry Funk, just balls to the wall, and and at the end of the 10 minutes, JR is calling it too. At the end of the time, Ric Flair comes up and cuts this promo with Muda mist all over his face and blood all over his face. Just one of the greatest moments ever. I loved it.
Was that the same pay-per-view where Muda and Sting had a match?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
With
they
the
did
two
not
rings?
let's just say, yeah, two rings.
Okay, yep.
Say they did not settle the score in the ring that night. Wait till
All
the end of
right.
that pay-per-view.
Yeah, I've seen that match, but I haven't seen the whole show. I have to go give that a watch.
And Ric Flair brings in Sting awkwardly at the end for like a goofball promo. It's like you can tell he was like, "Hey, say something," and he's like, "Woo! All right. Sounds good."
I mean, really, that was a lot
it's great.
of Sting promos in WCW about that time.
It's just one of the funnier situations. And Jim Ross being young too, right there, as he's like looking in the camera. You can almost put two and two together and try and understand what's happening at that moment. Great American Bash 89, worth checking out. Stay till the main event.
I actually just watched a little YouTube documentary on Muda, on him coming over, and up until about that time, actually. Good stuff. Wrestling bios on YouTube. I'll pull them over. They do a couple good documentaries on like just certain periods in a wrestler's life. They won't do like a whole comprehensive career, but like for X-Pac, it'll be this is the 1, 2, 3 kid bio. This is X-Pac. This is 6 when he was in WCW. 3 separate videos. So very interesting. I'll put them over. They had a Muda one that was really good.
Love it.
But if that's all, let's go ahead and talk about Fastlane. Last night, that was the WWE pay-per-view. I had a couple of the fellas come over. The homie Perch was busy putting in the business hours. I guess they had a very sad drive with Gunner's emo party blasting.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
Nothing sad about it.
I learned about the island game and the door game, so you cannot hate that.
Okay. I will have to learn about that some other time.
Yes, sir. We have trips coming up, so we can play those games later.
All right. But Fastlane. Overall, thought it was okay. Nothing too bad or anything, or I didn't really enjoy. Just probably slightly above average show, realistically. Really enjoyed the main with Bryan and Roman, except for that finish. Not too crazy about. Thought the women's tag was okay. Though I feel like it probably took a little too long to get to that turn. Though I do like the idea of Sasha just being like, you're a rookie.
I didn't like the idea, and maybe it's just like the mind of the placement, but like Bianca's back was by the entranceway, so when Sasha slapped her, she had to walk past her to get out of the ring, and I just felt like it made Bianca look a little weak because if someone slaps me across the face and they have to still walk by me, there's no way you're walking by me.
I think that's mostly because when they cut the camera to her, I get her reaction. So I think had she sold it so that she was facing the camera as Sasha walked away, it probably would have made more sense because looking at her face, it was more of a I can't believe it was more of a surprise. Like, you really just did that. You really just did that. I can't believe you just did that. Why would you do that? Okay, it's on. So
Yeah.
her face was like showing the run of emotions, but because she wasn't facing the camera when Sasha walked by, I understand how he feels because it looked like she just had her back to her.
Yeah, it just kind of looked like she bitched her in a way.
Yeah.
I'm never a fan of that, especially like if it's like if Sasha's taking the heel role.
Yeah. Drew and Sheamus, good big hoss fight. I'm pretty sure Drew threw Sheamus through some of the screens. That was crazy.
Yep. It's probably my favorite of the night, that match.
Goody.
What do you think about the Fiend's new look?
Oh yeah, that. So I thought the match was okay. As far as the Fiend's look, I like the mask. I'm not a big fan of the jumpsuit.
I mean, I get like they had to do something to make him look like he was burnt up.
Yeah.
So I totally understand. Like, all right, we have to make him look like he got legit set on fire.
Yeah.
So like with that, I kind of don't hate it just because like they had to do something to make him set on fire. But I don't know, the whole match. I think the match that was probably the match I was looking forward to the most. And I think it was predictable. Everyone knew the Fiend was coming, just wondering how he was coming. I like the whole like Alexa Bliss playing the game and like the lights falling on Orton and all that. They didn't touch each other. Like they did a good thing of protecting Orton for not touching Alexa. So wasn't mad about it. It's a good way to set up for Mania.
Yeah, my only thing was like maybe it took a little too long to get to the point, but I appreciated the effort. It was still good. I didn't like I like the idea of the spot, but I didn't like how it was shot was when the fire came up at the beginning.
I didn't like that it happened twice. Like they went to her shooting the fire at Randy Orton, and then she did it again.
And yeah,
not a fan of that.
Feel you. But otherwise, I thought it was a solid show. If anybody else have any opinions on it, they want to go into deeper.
I saw one image from Bray Wyatt last night, and it was very reminiscent of like a Friday the 13th-esque, Jason coming out with a different variation, a different costume, or a different look. So just from one still frame, it looked like the Fiend had kind of evolved into not a sequel, but another variation of himself.
Definitely. It definitely, like I'm with Zach, it tells the story of, hey, this guy came back from being burned. And I think the mask does it greatly. I'm just not the biggest fan of his jump. It's whatever that X is, I don't like it.
Would anyone else have been more of a fan? Like I get like he did the whole Undertaker where he put his hand out, grabbed Orton from the ring. But like, Alexa kept shooting the fireball, and I don't know, just from my like, what happened if she would have shot the fireball and like she should have shot it and hit the ring because it gets all cinematic, and if she was shot and hit the ring and like Orton's like you missed, and I don't know, like the ring got set on fire and that's where he rose from. Like
that would be nice.
Just like I don't know, too Undertaker-ish, and maybe like something a little different would have been nice.
That would have been good. I can't lie. I'm always a fan of that Undertaker spot of somebody coming out from underneath the ring, bursting through. I'm always a fan of it. It's a personal
fan. I just think like I'm thinking of the Fiend. Like, wouldn't you like kind of want to distinguish yourself?
Yeah, I get it. You're not wrong. It's just it's like if you do that spot, I'm probably going to enjoy it.
Yeah,
I remember the Butcher and the Blade doing it on that first episode of Dynamite.
Yep.
I loved it. I didn't know who the hell they were, and it was so cool. They got me on that one.
Yep, loved it then too. Great.
I always liked when Kane did it. He's my favorite coming out of the under the ring.
Kane's your
Person.
favorite? Who would have thought?
I'm predictable.
And the fire on all 4 posts too is as good as it gets for pyro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 1.
That and Jericho's. Jericho's back in the day was pretty cool. That loud pop.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Boom.
Who would have known? Good explosions enhance things.
I'm kind of looking forward to WWE maybe doing like a rebuttal to the explosion ring and like showing AEW like how they explode a ring.
They probably will.
That's how I feel like it's gonna go that way eventually.
We'll see what because obviously it's gonna be Bray and Randy at WrestleMania, so we'll see what they pull out there.
You think that'll be like a live shot match or a cinematic match?
If it was up to me, I'd like it to be cinematic. I'm a fan of those gimmicks having a cinematic feel to it.
When they lean into them 100%, it's a lot better than what I feel they'll do, and they'll try to do like when they did with the compound match, half cinematic, half live. Like that's not where I don't want them to do that. I either, if you're gonna do it live, just do it live and do just a straight up wrestling match. Some fire on the post occasionally will be enough.
True. You think it's gonna lead to an Inferno match, maybe?
I hope not, since they just did one.
Oh, wait, yeah, you're right.
Because then it's like, okay, Randy definitely has to get burned, and we see how quickly he recovers from burns to the face.
Randy Orton wears a Dick Fire mask. He turns into Fire for a week, and then he turns into Cure. It was a miracle.
The secret's in the mask, I guess. The secret's in the mask.
What to sell?
But if that's all we have for Fastlane, let's go ahead and talk about our wrestling weekends. Let's start it off with our one-man Riot Squad, because he probably did the least.
Correct. I did nothing, and I enjoyed it. Kind of. Still dealing with a hamstring injury. Can't really do a whole lot. I've been getting like the itch to do the wrestling stuff, and it kind of sucks just being stuck at home. Like you want to go out and train and wrestle, and you just like you can't. It's a sucky feeling, but whenever I'm good enough again to get back in the ring, it'll make it all the better. Looking forward to it. But yeah, I didn't do a whole lot this weekend.
Okay. Then guess we can go next. Me and Zach made our tag team debut at Frontline Pro Country Air versus the Dream Warriors for the new Frontline Pro Tag Team Championships.
Yes, sir. Came up a little short, but I thought it was I enjoyed the match.
I enjoyed the match. I think it was a good introduction for the Frontline Pro fans to see what Country Air is about. They got to see all our combos, our high flying, and how hard we hit, and how much fun we have. So.
Exactly. Doc laying it in. No Skylar Evans, you retained, so I feel no mercy for your chest being black and purple.
I kicked him once.
Hey, that's all it means when you get hit by the greatest heavyweight of all time.
I kicked him once that match. So
I got to be a big man for the match, so that was like a little bit different. I was like, hey, I'm not like just a big guy because I know I'm a big guy, but like I was a big guy.
Yeah, you were catching everything for sure. Couple people might have died in that match had it not been for good old Zach Hendricks.
We probably should have let him die. We've probably been the new tag champs by now.
Yeah, that actually probably worked against us. But yeah, it was a good match. I think the crowd was really hyped. It was good. It was my first time working Skylar and Quinn. Hope to do it again, and when we do it again, I hope it's us taking those tag titles.
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, Quinn and I actually went to high school together, graduated the same class in Maryville 2012. So that was like something nice. Like we got to finally lock up. I seen him debut. He's been in for like 7 years, and when I seen him lock in, trying to figure out where to train at the point of when I was in college. So it was just nice to be like, hey, like I actually got the not just like, I mean, wrestling for the first time, but it was a dude I actually went to high school with. Great match, and to me, it was kind of a point to prove. I think maybe there's some self doubt. There's some self doubt in the frontline management office about how well Country would do under pressure, and I think we proved to them that no matter what, your mama's favorites will always kill it.
Yep, for sure. And then we shall pass it on to our senior official who had a full weekend.
Man, this was a wonderful wrestling weekend. Great Midwest weekend too. It was like 60 degrees and sunny and light breeze. Drove down to Oregon, Illinois on Saturday for Zawa Live, and it was the first time back there in a few months. We went, Doc and I went there once since we've been wearing masks. But it was great to be back there and to see everybody again. And that's such a fun promotion to work with everybody, from Ryan the promoter to everybody, the whole crew. Just a fun, passionate company for pro wrestling, and the fan base out there, man, they are so into wrestling. It's very fun. A few of them remembered me, and we're able to talk to them after the show and just kind of get the vibe of how things have been, and they couldn't be happier to see that pro wrestling is back, and it's kind of a good feeling in the air.
Nice,
Um,
nice.
I
It
always
was
love seeing the old school tie on Perch. Like I seen photos from it. Perch, I love the old school look, and no one pulls it off better.
yeah,
Agree.
it's thank you. It's far too kind. um the old school bow tie and blue shirt is something that I very much have a lot of respect for. A lot of the guys who I watched growing up have that same look, and it's something not a lot of promotions do. But whenever it is the case, I try and take it really seriously. So yeah, I love it. Got an extra long sleeve one this time, and it came in handy because it was an outdoor show. So come time for the main event, it was a little bit chilly, a little bit dark, and in that long sleeve barber shop barkeep pro wrestling referee blue shirt and a bow tie ended up doing the trick. It was fun. Um, Ended up getting, I think, 4 out of the 8 matches, maybe 4 out of 9 matches. It was a good night, wild night, with Chip Collins in the opener against Voodoo. I forgot the exact name, but he had a voodoo doll and caused a little bit of shenanigans in there. We got a Judd the Janitor match early. That was great. That was when the sunshine was still out. Ended up getting the match. Oh man, the hard hitting Braxton match was damn good. And I can't remember who Mike was against Mike, and hard hitting match whole way through.
Hartenbauer and Braxton.
Yeah, Mike Hartenbauer. Yep. And against Braxton. That was a damn good match. 2 out of 3 falls. So that was a multi-pin match, and that had the place going wild. And then the main event was JJ Garrett and Brooke Valentine with Captain Midnight Guthrie on their side against Missa Kate and Mikey from Freelance is where we worked with him before, as well as Zawa. Good dude, good people all the way around. So a fun night at Zawa, to say the least.
Who worked Connor Hopkins?
That was Chiron.
Chiron's back.
Chiron is back.
Good
I
stuff.
seen the photo. Yeah, I seen the photos, and he wasn't wearing the. I thought that was Chiron, but he wasn't wearing the MMA gear. So it's a little like I was just wondering who that was. If that was him or not.
Yep, Chiron is back, and called him out, and they had a title shot, and yeah, it ended in some sort of shenanigans. But it was good time. If you're looking for good storytelling, great wrestling, follow Zawa Live They're really good nostalgic wrestling, and the people there give their heart and soul. It's fun.
How was the contract signing?
Pretty good. Good to see Bailey is a bad guy and kicking ass on Dakota. There was a table, and the table did not end standing. We can say that much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But,
definitely, I enjoy Bailey's new attitude, new look.
I'm always a fan of Dakota. I'm a big Dakota fan. The guy has a lot of heart, and just every time you see him, always a smile. And what he does in the ring, he hits hard, but he makes you like you're entertained by the guy.
Yeah, much love for Dakota too, but love Bailey's new change in attitude. And yeah, it sounds great. Shout out to the photographer, Matt Tucker.
Yep, Matt
Shout out to
Tucker.
Tiki.
Check out the pictures. There's million stories to be told through all those pictures.
Yep.
And speaking of Matt Tucker, ended up seeing him the next day as I traveled to LLT. I hopped in the car with Raven and CJ Cole, a couple of homies that we train with, and they had a show going on this weekend, and I asked, said, hey, you got an extra spot in your car? And they did. So just like old school times, it feels like a little bit of normalcy in this world. Felt great, taking advantage of a 2-shot weekend. So we all went down, and Larissa was booked, and we were there for support. We'll film the match. We'll be there with anything you need. And the classic that Jonah sees someone that he knows, and the guy's like, hey, you have your gear? And yep, sure enough, great, grab it, you're on. So then he gives me his phone. Great, you mind filming my match? Yep, sure, I'll film it. And about a minute till showtime, he comes back down. Hey, you got your gear? Oh, me? Yeah, I got my gear. So ended up getting the call to referee. So all of us ended up getting on the show. It was a successful trip, and yeah, Larissa had a good match against Serena Gray, and CJ Cole had a good match against a guy named Mario from Poland. That was a good match, and I happened to be getting the call to ref all 6 matches, the entire card. Not only was there no ref, I was the only ref.
How does that
Very
work
lucky
out?
you showed up.
So not only did I have Raven's match and CJ's match, I also had every luchador match and multi-man match and everything at the end.
Were they just like hoping a random ref would show up, you think, and you filled that role?
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I didn't understand much of anything that day. It was serious parts of hours in between where maybe 1 or 2 people have understood. So we all know it sometimes, and as a ref, pro wrestling calls, and when it calls, you have to be there for it, and I felt it, and I knew what to do at that point. So nice. I was like, yep, we need a ref, and yeah, the other guys may be here, maybe not, but if anything, you're doing them all. Great, yes, I will do them all. If you need anything you need, I'm here for you. So yeah, I got some good experience in luchador wrestling. Check it out on YouTube, LLT.
Yeah,
good production people there too.
The Raven, I believe, posted that, so you can go ahead and check her page. I think she posted it. CJ probably posted it too. Go check his page. Give them a like.
Yep, give them a like, give them a follow. They earned it that night. It was a great opportunity to travel with a good brother and sister in the generations that we've come up through. We're all so very young in this business. It was cool to have an opportunity to travel with someone even just a bit younger than us in the business, and just kind of let them know, be there for assurance and everything. So I really enjoyed it, and it was a good time all the way around. And the matches were wild too. The crowd is crazy at LLT. Those people are really into it. The final match ended up being a 6-man, 2 out of 3 falls, but it has to be the captains at the end. So unless if they're pinned, the pins don't count. So it was all in all 3 pins and 2 submissions. Yeah, it was wild, and at the end of the night, it was up in the locker room, and getting comfortable clothes on, and the boys went, hey referee, and I looked over, they had a bushel full of Modelo's, ice cold.
Yeah.
They said, you earned it.
Mhm.
I said, thank you guys, thank you very much. It was a wonderful time, great learning experience. But yeah, it was a good wrestling weekend, and all in all, I think we got 10 matches under the belt in the weekend. So getting primed and ready for the big influx of pro wrestling coming back.
Definitely. We got the summer coming up. Summer tour is always lit. That's, I guess, kind of getting started early this year with us starting traveling next month. But we can talk more in the immediate and talk about what's coming up this week. For most of us, or all of us, we have ICW, Insanity TV Live at Tanner Paul Hall. It will be me and my loving partner, Zach Hendricks, Country Air, in action as we defend our tag team titles. It's supposed to be a multi-tag team match, but certain people that are supposed to be involved in this match are kind of hurt at the moment. So we don't know what we'll be defending against. How do you feel about that, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to like all competitions. I like working like you, Doc. I want to work every tag team, but at the same time, 2 of the guys who are injured, I'd rather them get healthy. I wouldn't feel comfortable with them in the ring. I want them at their best. I don't want any cheap wins. I want everyone at their best. So if you guys they have to take off and it turns into something else, no matter the situation, I think Country Air will prevail. If not, if you guys want to step in the ring and you're injured, just know I'm coming after it.
Yep.
You son of a bitch.
I'm in.
I'm just saying, we've been known for doing our arm submissions. This past weekend, we showed we can do leg submissions. I just think both of those injured people should be worried.
Yeah, they should definitely take in consideration of their own health. I'm not responsible for what happens to you if you come in the ring.
Noted.
Plus, I mean, isn't there something like Trouble in Paradise with some of the tag teams?
Mm-hmm.
So me and Chucky are also going to be involved in this multi-man tag match for the titles at ICW this weekend. It's a lot of factors going into this one. Chucky, kind of hate him at the moment. Don't really want to team with him, but I think I'm gonna have to. And yeah, also hamstrings feeling not great. And I'll just let you know now, if any of you touch it or kick it, I am coming for blood.
No
But
problem.
right now, my goal is to still be in that match. Hopefully, if that happens.
Well, Doc, you kicked Skyler once and you bruised his thigh. You know what to do.
Oh, did I bruise his thigh as well?
I'm assuming.
Oh.
I was just thinking you sound a lot stronger.
I just think he bruises easily.
Well, let's see how easy Gunner bruises.
Yeah.
What's his gimmick? A banana? Yep, I got jokes.
It's funny coming from Joe of all people. Just the banana reference, because been known for a time or two in a Royal Rumble to be a banana who delivers bruises.
You're darn right.
Any other shows besides that this weekend that Perch you're going to?
We'll be out of town for some tapings of some sort, but more info to follow.
Oh, big man Perch doing his thing.
Yep, we'll be on the road for pro wrestling, and stay tuned. big stuff coming up, really all the way around. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention with Zawa before that Zawa Live is going to be in Tampa this year as well for the big WrestleMania weekend. So stay tuned for that information, which is pretty cool.
Yes. I know they did release some information earlier that they will be streaming live, I believe. But go ahead, make sure you follow their Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram, and all that to stay up to date on what's
They
coming up.
also announced a very beautiful tag team will be in Tampa for their show.
Yes, they did. They did officially announce that Country Air will be at those Tampa shows. So yeah, keep your ears open and eyes peeled for more info as it releases. And yeah, a lot of companies are starting to do tapings and stuff. So keep an eye out. You'll certainly see Perch. You might see your mama's favorite tag team pop up on one of these. But hey, keep an eye out.
Lots of good WrestleMania stuff coming up. So yeah, stay tuned. There's a lot of info. We're gonna make the most out of it.
Yep. But if we're all done talking about what we got coming up, let's go ahead and move into our second to last segment. I posed the question to the boys since we watched Fastlane, and that is like the bump on the road to WrestleMania. And it's been okay, I guess, the past couple of years. None of them have really stood out. So I figured, hey, why don't we come up with a pay-per-view to bring back that we would want to replace that on the road to WrestleMania, something that can also, hopefully keep the fans excited, but not overshadow WrestleMania. I'll go first. You want to go first? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I actually kind of did something different. I would take out Fastlane, period, and just figure out the happy medium to place Elimination Chamber. I think the less pay-per-views in between Royal Rumble and Mania, the better.
Okay.
Do some storytelling with Raw and SmackDown, get more viewers on that. But let's be honest, we watched Fastlane. Did anyone think Roman Reigns was losing? No. Did Bobby Lashley even defend the belt? No. Did the Fiend do anything? Like, did everyone knew the Fiend was showing up for Alexa Bliss's match? Yes. It was very predictable. Like, it was a good pay-per-view, but just I feel like it's way too predictable. They're a few weeks out of Mania. It's just I get that they're building matches, but maybe just push Elimination Chamber back a little bit and start building up storylines with Raw, SmackDown. I just want to put another pay-per-view.
Okay. I mean, technically, I guess you would say you would just move Elimination Chamber.
Okay. I'd move Elimination Chamber in the middle. I'd move WrestleMania a little bit up.
Okay. That's not bad. Anybody else want to go next?
Yeah, I would. Well, we'll give G a little extra time to do his homework.
Thank you.
I would say, you said, if we were to bring a pay-per-view back, instantly one came to my mind, and I said, oh yeah, if we were to bring back one pay-per-view, it would be Armageddon. Straight up, give me some Armageddon. Big feuds brewing right into the WrestleMania. It's nice having the Rumble and then WrestleMania, but give me an Armageddon pay-per-view. Those ones always hit hard. Like 99, 2000, Triple H and Vince McMahon and that blood feud at the first one, and then the following year was the 6-man Hell in a Cell match with Rikishi and The Rock with that infamous promo where he rips on everybody. I just love the Armageddon pay-per-view as a whole. Oh, the 3 stages of Hell match with Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Very reminiscent of a great era and pro wrestling that I love. Good blood feuds and good hostility and animosity brewing up. So if I were to add a pay-per-view, it would be Armageddon.
Okay. All right. Gunnar, you want another moment?
No, I know what my answer is. So I would do, I think the name of the pay-per-view, and it might have had a couple different names, but like Taboo Tuesday
Taboo
maybe.
Tuesday, Cyber Tuesday, or Cyber
Yes.
Monday,
Cyber
like that.
Monday,
Yes.
Cyber Sunday.
Where the fans get to vote
Okay.
for certain stipulations to matches or certain consequences to what happens if opponent A or B loses or wins a certain match. I think it'd give the fans a little bit of control to like maybe shake up the WrestleMania card a little bit to their liking based on certain like polls that you could run at the pay-per-view prior. And I don't know, I just think it'd be a pretty cool idea to have like the chance to shake up part of the WrestleMania card based on the pay-per-view that comes before it.
Very nice. I recently watched the first Taboo Tuesday. Had a great opening match with Jericho and Shelton Benjamin, which Jericho's the Intercontinental Champion going in. Shelton wins it. And they call that on the fly. That match is called on the fly, and the results are called on the fly as well. Somebody gets the ref gets called in the middle of the match. Jericho talks about it.
Dang.
Huh.
I always wondered how much those like polls were legitimate.
So in that one, it's like half and half. I'd say like you can tell some choices are like, okay, these are what the fans are definitely going to use. Like so it's weird. And then in that one, it's like because it was the fans vote for who gets a shot at the Intercontinental title. It was like 10 names. 7 of them you knew for sure weren't going to win.
Yep.
So
I just think Taboo Tuesday every time was the one at the Bradley Center. I think that was the first one. So when it was coming out, it was probably 04, I think, and internet was just coming around, and it was like kind of a cool thing. But it was in Milwaukee, and of all the pay-per-views, we were like, damn, this would be a cool one to be at, but we weren't. But I remember it being there, and No Way Out was in Milwaukee too, with the NWO coming back. That was another one right in that same wheelhouse. I wanted to be there. Remember the night that it was happening and I wasn't there. Now we're in the business.
Yeah. Won't miss that again. But no, good pick, yeah. I think it'd be very interesting to bring Taboo Tuesday back, especially in this. And if we could do it, shoot. And, just go ahead and call it in the ring and prove to these old timers that, yeah, some of us can still call it in the ring. But for my pick, I'm kind of in the same era as Perch. I would bring back No Mercy. No Mercy was just like a very influential pay-per-view in my younger watching of wrestling. Like didn't get all the pay-per-views, but like I got like the first 4 or 5 No Mercies. when those are out. Those were always one of my favorite pay-per-views. You got Stone Cold Triple H in the first one. And I just feel like that pay-per-view was like perfect, like always felt like that era of when we were starting to get, the SmackDown 6 going and the brands really being their own thing. So I always felt that pay-per-view always like perfectly encapsulated that era. Felt like it was perfect for it. So that's what I would pick. And gave us one of the best wrestling games of all time.
I was going to ask if that had any influence over your decision.
That does have influence over my decision because the pay-per-views were so good, it made me buy the game.
Oh.
Yeah, it definitely lived up to the hype. There's a game that lived up to the pay-per-view quality. I mean, that every time the setting during that pay-per-view, that was right when I got the WWE Network. Once we were adults and could afford all this stuff we wanted as we were kids,
Yeah.
like a thing that we dreamed, like the WWE Network. Right when I got it, I went back and watched all the No Mercies. What a great set of pay-per-views. It really was a good a good theme pay-per-view with the feuds they had going at the time. And yeah, the game hands down the greatest.
Yeah. I have not. I like, now that you brought it up, I probably will just go through and watch all the No Mercies. I am starting to catch up on my WrestleMania watch to like where I've definitely watched the last like 6 or 7. I might not be in such a rush to rewatch those. So I might take a break and go ahead and rewatch all the No Mercies.
Yeah, that was as soon as I had a full library in front of me. Ooh, great. Let me go to this section and see what I missed all those years.
That's the thing. You know what? This sounds like a good question for next week, so we'll save it. We'll say that.
Oh, good. I'm anxious.
Yeah, we'll say that. We'll save that for next week. But so let's go ahead and get on to our last segment if Gunnar is ready.
Yep. Simple question. Should have some intriguing answers, I hope. What is your favorite superhero and why? I also, not wrestling related, but I watched Zack Snyder's cut of the Justice League this weekend. Very long movie, but it was a good one. So this inspired this question.
Oh, okay. My favorite superhero, it rotates because I'm a big nerd and read a lot of comics and watch a lot of anime. But I guess my favorite Western hero right now is Deadpool. It usually goes back and forth between Deadpool and Green Lantern. Big Green Lantern fan as well. But Deadpool is probably
Ryan Reynolds.
Yep, Ryan Reynolds. I don't know if you noticed because they are still in their boxes, but I've got a bunch of Deadpool statues and stuff on the bookcase where we took that picture at.
I did not notice.
I did notice that.
Yep. So I'm a big Deadpool fan. I have a couple of the complete runs of the comics back in the back room. As for why, just mostly because of the comics. And as Perch said, we become adults and we get money and we buy all the things that we wanted that we couldn't when we were kids. When I got a job, I really started buying up a lot of comics because I couldn't when I was a kid. And just a lot of the Deadpool stories at the time were great, just like with his alternate universes and how crazy he is and how he sees reality. It just gives a lot of creativity to a lot of writers to write different versions of him and different interpretations of the story that are all just great. But it still always kind of remains the same. He's pissed that he's ugly.
I can relate.
He's like pissed that he's ugly, and that is what causes most of the problems for him and a lot of the emotional highs and lows. I mean, it feels like a surface thing, but the movie doesn't really show it because you can still tell that that's Ryan Reynolds, so he's still highly attractive. But the comic definitely does do a better job of making him look grotesque and ugly. So I don't know, always just resonated with me. And he tends to be a big nerd too.
I guess I'll go second. Probably originally it would have been like Hawkeye or Gambit, but after like being a fan of the Marvel universe, a man of great hair, a man who likes beer, man who just has a great presence. I'm gonna go with Thor.
Okay. Makes sense.
Saw that one coming.
Someone you model yourself after.
He models after me, I like to think.
I think superheroes was the question. Aside from Triple H, put Triple H aside. If I were to have to,
I'm sure whenever Triple H comes up with his WrestleMania entrances, he's like, "How can I look most like a supervillain at least?"
Yeah.
Oh, super.
Yeah,
that's easy.
yeah, he could be.
What's better, Perch? Thor's hammer or Triple H's sledgehammer?
Triple H's sledgehammer, hands down.
Wins every time.
Mm-hmm.
Just rock
Just
scissors.
It's easy to pick up because he who picks it up usually ends up wearing it. So it's tricky. It's tricky, Sledge. But I would say, as far as superheroes go, one hands down is my favorite, and it goes back from the old school show all the way to when I was growing up, seeing a couple movies in the theater, and that was Batman. I got to see the one with Val Kilmer in the theater, and I got to see the one with George Clooney in the theater. And just like, any Batman, it's always about the villain. Just like in the old school Batman, the villains were always the best. Cesar Romero was the Joker, but the one common theme was Vincent Price as Egghead. The one common theme was that Batman. You wouldn't have a villain without Batman. Similar to, you wouldn't have a hero without a villain. You wouldn't have those great villains without an anchor. And I feel Batman's always been a good, solid anchor for superheroes. And Christian Bale, one of my favorite actors of all time. I didn't see the one with Bane, but it took me a lot of years to see his Batmans, because George Clooney and Val Kilmer for me are always Batman. And I did see the Joker one. It was good. I saw that in the theater with Christian Bale, but not like the Clooney and Val Kilmer ones. So they'll always be Batman for me, and my favorite superhero.
My Batman is Keaton.
Ooh,
Closely by Bale.
that was the first VHS of Batman we had, was the one with Danny DeVito as Penguin. And he was great Batman. That was before I even knew who actors were. So yeah, I think Michael Keaton is the original Batman I remember seeing. And then they had the car at Six Flags from one of his movies there. So Dad would always be like, "That's the car from from the Batman movie." So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. No, not a bad choice. Gunnar, are you gonna answer your own question?
Yes. So when I was a kid, it was definitely Spider-Man, because for me, he was super relatable, being a nerd that always got picked on until he got his powers. Just the idea of being able just to like shoot webs out of your hand, just like swing around cities, just sounds like a blast to me. I had several dreams as a little kid of doing that myself, and man, that'd be so fun. So Spider-Man was definitely number one when I was a kid, but throughout time it's grown to also be Batman. Big Batman fan. He's more relatable to me now than I think Spider-Man is. And
Well, if anybody
just
picks on you, you'll just crush them now.
oh yeah. And not near as agile as Spider-Man anymore.
Not now.
Anymore.
I
It
was
reflects time. You went from a Peter Parker to a Bruce Wayne.
yep. Just the fact that like Batman doesn't have any like real superpowers, it's kind of cool. He's rich, that's cool. He gets women, that's cool. What's not to like?
Yeah. I mean, Deadpool gets men and women, but whatever.
I would say best video games though, those Spider-Mans growing up were pretty good, because the slinging across the city, that gave you such a cool option to just fly through towns.
Yep.
That is usually like the best thing. I mean, even in like the I don't know if anybody's played the Lego Marvel games, being Spider-Man is one of the best.
Really?
Yeah, it's still one of the better ones as far as like being fun to play as. Like the Spider-Man option is still the best. Swinging through the city is like the funnest way to travel. It's maybe not the fastest or easiest, but it's the funnest.
Love it.
All right. Does anybody have anything else they want to discuss?
Yeah, there was one thing came up last Friday. It was a freelance Friday. I wanted to throw it out there. Was a great blood feud match between Isaias Velasquez and Pat Monix, and it was a big feud brewing throughout freelance wrestling, and it ended at Logan Square with a packed house. It was a full crowd. Wild atmosphere, and a great match. A lot of blood, but a hard-hitting affair and a real drama-filled match. And they just released it on YouTube. So if you check out the Freelance Wrestling YouTube page, the Isaiah against Pat Monick's match was pretty damn cool. Happened to be on the inside of the ring for that match and learned a lot.
Good, yeah. Freelance, those are the homies. Especially Isaiah always looks out for us. So go ahead and check that out. While we're speaking of matches on YouTube, go ahead and check out the AWF wrestling page, because our episode, Country Air versus Platinum Luxury, did debut on their YouTube this past week, I believe.
Yes, sir. Shout out to PD. Thank you for having us again.
Yep, and we hope to be back there, and keep your eyes out for another episode with your mama's favorite tag team and the One Man Riot Squad, making their names out in Minnesota. But on that note, thank the fellas for coming out. We're going to go ahead and take it home. This has been the Take It Home podcast. Y'all be easy. One.
Yeah.